Okay, got that. Alright, need to write up his intro. Hey, Firestorm, my man! What do you want, Sentinel? Well, I noticed it's about time for you to start recording your next video, and so I thought you could do your next video on yours truly. Since, you know, I am the best and most powerful Transformer of them all. First of all, you're not powerful. Second of all, I'm busy working on Skybyte's video. Come on, man. Write me a funny comedy sketch intro for the video, like you've done for the others. Debatable on those being funny. Come on, man. I've been dying to be in one of these videos. You know how popular I am thanks to the movies? Fine. But afterwards, you're leaving me alone while I finish Skybyte's video and also track down the rest of the 13 primes that you killed or banished. Hard to tell in this universe's lore. You got yourself a deal, my man! Alright, let's get on to the video. That's my line. Now, on to the review. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Firestorm Reviews, where today we'll be reviewing Transformers Studio Series 1 Sentinel Prime. And before we get on to the figure, let's have a look at the box. Alright, so here we have Sentinel Prime's box. It's one of the newer Studio Series boxes, which again I'm not too much of a fan of, but it's alright. Just still wish they kept the numbers on the box. Alright, anyway, we have the plastic window where you would see the figure, the step count, the age rating. I'm assuming that the Autobot factor and some text that says more to meets the eye. Here we have a CGI render of Sentinel Prime, being a stoic and a traitor as always. His vehicle mode, which we never got to see in the movie, but is awesome. Another image of Sentinel Prime. Here we have a back image showing him in robot mode, vehicle mode, and super mode. Boring text. And at the top here we have an image of Sentinel Prime from the movie, which is actually something I like because it shows them now where they appeared in the movie. And we have some stuff like here saying Sentinel Prime is the leader of Icon City and fights to save Cybertron from the Quintessons. Big X to that on that. Here we have the roof of the box, and that's it for the box. Alright, now that the box is done, let's move on to the figure itself. Alright, here we have Sentinel Prime, and I got to say, they really made him look very accurate to the movie. Sure, his wings here aren't copies of what they were in the movie, but they're alright. They give me the vibe this is what his original form was before he took Megatronus's T-Cog. Spoilers alert. But be honest with me, if you haven't seen the movie already, then you really should have seen it by now, because it was already out in cinemas and already now probably on streaming. So yeah, the painting is very nice on the figure, nice gold accents, the pop of yellow every now and then, his dark crimson, his dark violet blue, whatever type of blue it is, I can't do colors that well. Some nice little light blues on his knees, which I'm not sure were in the movie or not. We get his stoic looking eyes, which are very obviously hiding his evilness. He has an alright backpack. Not as bad as some figures, but it's easily disguised with his wings being folded out like that. He comes with 3 separate accessories. Oh, and also he has a problem with standing sometimes. Alright, he comes with 3 separate accessories. One of them being his shield and 2 null rays, which I don't think we ever saw him use separately. They were only ever attached to the shield, which connects like so. And there, and then you just take that and see this tab on his arm. He has one on this side too. You just click it in and boom, you have Sentinel Prime's shield arm that he stole off another Prime, I believe being Nexus Prime. Correct me down in the comments below. Now, for one of my biggest complaints on this figure, I only have like 3 things that really irritate me when it comes to stuff. 1 being goats, 2 being mangoes, and 3 figures limbs that become super weak as soon as they're out of the box. Because my Sentinel Prime figure here, I'm not sure if it's an issue, has very weak arms and all that. Just a simple tap, and they can barely hold up a shield sometimes in higher poses, see? It's my only complaint with him that I have. Sure, he's able to hold up like that, but that's because it's all the way up. But just a little bit higher, he can't even hold it. So yeah, I'm saying this because on his arm, if I just quickly transform him here, you can see that, oh, I move his wings out of the way, he has ball joints here, which I believe can be easily taken down in quality control. So yeah, it's very terrible. I feel like they should have gone with something like they have in the arms here with those types of for the limbs. And sadly, you can't rip him in half like with Megatron. So, sorry Megatron. Curses! I was gonna rip him in half at the end of this. Well, gotta go. Alright, now that he's gone. Now let's get on to his posability. His, well, joints. He has a rotation at the head. Can be a bit tight. He has a somewhat decent neck posability, which gives him a bit of a double chin. But that's for something I'll show you a bit later. Like I said, weak ball joints at the arms to give him a full 360. His arms can move out that far. Rotation at the shoulder, bend at the shoulder. No hand rotation, which is alright. But it is a Voyager class figure. I would expect no hand rotations on a deluxe. And yes, I know my figure here, my version of me doesn't have hand rotation, but that's because of the way it transforms. Yeah, he has a race rotation that spins full 360. Legs can kick out that far and back that far. And he has a somewhat decent split. Well, perfect split. And another thing as well, complain about this figure, is this part here doesn't tab in very well. I have to force it shut a lot of the time. He has rotation at the knee, bend at the knee, and one of the best knee articulations I've ever seen. And this, I'm not sure this counts, toe articulation. So yeah, that's his posability. Oh, and if you also want to count wings. So yeah, that's posability. Now let's do some size comparisons. Here we have him next to the Transformers 1 cast. Please help me. But I gotta say, he's quite small for a Voyager class. Even I outclass him, and I'm a Voyager too. Alright, let's move on to the next lot of characters. Here he is with Vector and Alpha... I'm not Vector Prime... Primer and Alpha Trion. Here he is next to my next review, being Skybite. And last but not least, we will do the Firestorm squad. And here he is compared to everyone in Team Firestorm. Seriously, why is he so small? He should at least be a little bit bigger, or maybe scaled up to a smaller leader class. Alright, let's move on to some poses you could put him in, and then move on to his super mode transformation. The first pose you can put him in is using his hand cannon. Oh yes, you can also give him his hand cannon from the movie by just sliding this up like so. And it also adds a little bit of nice detail here. So yeah, you can have him fire his hand cannon. You can have him being a smug jerk. Have him getting suplexed by Megatron. And of course, pointing and shooting. And last for them all, superhero pose. Or would for him it be a super villain landing pose? Whatever, let's move on to transformation into super mode. Okay, for his transformation into super mode, first you're going to want to take his accessories here. And if you don't have them in the combined mode, like they would probably normally be left in, just quickly do that and put that to the side. And then you take this hand here, pull out his hand cannon. Then you go to his shoulders and pop them open to reveal these little turrets. Then you take the yellow part of his chest here, fold it down, lift his head up a little bit, and reveal his battle mask. Then you take the two parts of his chest and pop them out like that. Then you come down to his feet here and see these yellow pads. You just open them up and fold out the missiles. Second verse, same as the first. Then you come down to his feet, fold his toes down like so, open up those, bring out his thrusters, do the same on the other side, and struggle to get them out. There's a second way you can transform his thrusters. One called flight mode in the instructions, which is just fold them up like that for him to be flying. But the default pose is like this. And then you take his shield and tab it in like so. And there. Drop the shield. You have Super Mode Sentinel Prime. Basically, nothing really changes besides his height a little bit, so we'll do another size comparison there, and no change in articulation except for the loss of his toes. So yeah, let's move on to the size comparisons for this mode. Here's Sentinel Prime with the main Transformers 1 cast. Here he is with the two primes that I own, Primer and Alpha Trion. Actually, I just realized something, guys. Why didn't they give him his double-bladed sword? We'll talk about that in my final swords. Alright, let's move on to the next characters. Here he is next to my next review, Skybite. Now let's move on to the last characters, being the Firestorm Squad. And here is Super Sentinel Prime with the team, with Firestorm's team. Alright, now let's move on to his transformation into jet mode. Alright, first you're going to want to get him back into his base form. Alright, now let's get on to the transformation. Alright, first you're going to want to take away his shield. And then you're going to want to spin his head 360 degrees. And then you're going to take his nose cone here, untap it from the back, and fold it up like this. Then you take his two wing pieces here, untap them from their slots here, and rotate them down. And same as the other side. Then you're going to want to go to his feet, tab them together. Then basically what we did to get his feet into super mode, you do again. For some reason this is when the feet decide to get tricky on me. And then you just fold them down like this. Then you take this part here, hinge it up like so, then hinge it back, tab them in. Then you take his wings, and there'll be some small slots that you could barely miss. You're going to want to take these tabs here and put them in there. Then you want to come back to his arms, and yeah, the tabs don't really stay in very well. Then you come back to his arms, turn his hands into their into their cannon modes. Untab his torso, which if you're ones like mine, this part would already have done for you. Fold them down, and there'll be some tabs on the inside here. You want to connect them with there. Like so on both sides. And then you take the arm cannon and put this slot here into that tab there. Same as the other side. Come to the top. Fold out his wings. Then you take his two cannons, his shield goes on that tab there. And then you just take the cannons and plug them here. And this part isn't a part of the instruction, but it's something I like to do. You can just turn his chest pieces into their super mode configurations. Just something I like to do, but you don't need to do it. So yeah, that is Sentinel Prime's vehicle mode, and let's get a better look at it. That never happened, and I'm not reshooting this scene again. So yeah, Sentinel Prime's vehicle mode is a very nice, sleek Cybertronian jet mode. I will admit it's better than the tri-jet that I'm stuck with. Very cool coloring. Of course, robot underneath, just doing that. Nothing you can avoid. And you have a couple 5mm ports for blast effects. Yeah, and even without the shield and blasters, he still looks pretty nice. I like to imagine the blasters only come out when he transformed from super mode. So yeah. Now let's do some size comparisons of his vehicle mode with the other vehicle modes, and then we'll move on to my final thoughts. Here we have him with the Transformers Movie 1 main cast. Well, all the ones who can transform and a leader one on her back. Now let's move on to the next lot. Here we have him with Alpha Trion and Primer. Now let's move on to the next lot. And here we have him with Skybite. Now let's move on to the Firestorm Squad. And here he is with all of the Firestorm Squad, minus me because I'm nearly impossible to transform without ripping off all my paint. And yeah, let's move on to my final thoughts. So, Transformers Studio Series 1 Sentinel Prime. Definitely an alright figure that has some issues, missing one key accessory being his double-bladed sword that all Sentinel Prime should be legally acquired to have. And yeah, definitely deserves alright. Maybe it could have been a leader class figure to bulk him out, maybe give him his other accessories and that, and make him a bit bigger. Yeah, anyway. That's what I saw of the figure. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Alright, Sentinel, the recording is finished. So yeah, Mega Empress, take him to the solver. Wait, what do you mean? As you wish, Firestorm. Wait, what? I'll take him immediately. Why, Empress? What is he having you do? Oh, you'll find out shortly. Hopefully, she has fun with you. Wait, what do you mean, fun? Empress, wait. Empress, no, Empress, wait! Ah, scrap. Hopefully, this isn't too bad. She said she. Hopefully, it's nothing too bad. What the? What in Primus is that thing? It is easier to assimilate than explain. What the? Get away from me! No! Stay back! No. No! 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 Giggle. Giggle, giggle.